So steps 8 and 9. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. That's 8. 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. It's a lot. Sounds like a lot. So step 8, very simple, came from my step 4. I had already made the list in step 4 of the people I had harmed, and I transferred them over to step 8. Boom. Damn right, it was a good day. That was nice and easy, right? So we make this list, but it says in there, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. That does not mean that you have to make an amends to all of them right now, this very moment, to recover. Became willing over a period of time. So what we did was, my sponsor had me take out index cards, right? And I wrote down the names of all the people that I was willing to do right then and put a plus sign on the card with that name. Then I wrote down on the index cards all the people that I was not willing to do at that time and put a minus sign on. So over here on the side I was willing to do was my cousin, my best friend Kev, people that I kind of knew the result was going to come. And then on the list of people that I was not willing to do right now was my grandmother, my mother, my father, stuff I was scared to do, right? So I went through and I did 5 to start off, 5 people. I waited for the moment to approach me. I didn't sit down on the phone and force that on these people like one of my best friends, Kevin Porter, came and picked me up one day to take me to get my license back while I was in the homeless shelter. And that moment, sitting at a traffic light while no music was playing or whatever, presented itself. Just us, we're sitting here, I owe this guy an amends, I'm gonna make it. You know, and the way I was taught to make an amends is this. I tell them what I did to them. And then this one important question, how did that make you feel? And then shut up and let them talk. So I say, hey man, I did X, Y, Z to you, and I want to make it better. How did that make you feel? And just like I thought, on this list over here, the people I was willing to do, don't worry about it, man. It's all good. Forget about that money. Just keep doing what you're doing, and we'll figure it out. No problem. Say, what can I do to make it better? And Kevin's 15 years clean right now, okay? So this is a person in recovery. He dropped the coldest piece on me that I still use to this day. This was 7 years ago. He dropped the coldest piece on me that I still use to this day. When I said, what can I do to make it better? He said, what I want you to do for me is just add value to every situation you walk into from now on. He said, add value to it. Quit taking from it. When you go to the family reunion, be the one bringing food. Be the one bringing the good attitude. Being the one offering to help. Instead of the one that shows up and needs money. Where's the food at? What can I take with me? That's just one example. And I try to the best of my ability to use that in our situation here at Hype Studios, at Chapel Hill, Evolve Indie, RAC, these other businesses that we're working on. I try to add value. And so this recovery principle transferred over into real life, where it's like, instead of complaining about how much money I make, how about I do way more than I get paid for and see what happens? Then the unsolicited job offers and the unsolicited raises started showing up on their own. You see? He asked me to simply add value to the situations that I walk into, be it in recovery or in personal life. And by asking me to do that and me upholding my amends to him, dude, this meteoric thing on Facebook and into business and all, like I guess he does know what he was doing for me that day. Saying the only thing you have to do for me is add value to wherever you go. So that amends went really well, right? Still going well to this day. I was willing to make amends to them. And then I became willing to make amends to them all. After I did, my cousin and my friends. I became willing to do the hard ones. So I would have the index cards there with the minus signs on them, my grandmother. And again, I didn't force this on these people. I was at a family reunion, just had a baby. My first daughter, Ashlyn, was born. And there was my 80-year-old grandmother sitting on the swing out on the farm. You know, the swing for two people. She's sitting there on the swing by herself. And I had my daughter. And my grandmother had not met my daughter yet. We just showed up. And I sat down with her. The whole family gathered around to see my grandmother meeting her first great-grandchild, right? So it's kind of a moment, very spiritual moment. I get to introduce my daughter to my grandmother. After that kind of died off and everybody went back to eating and doing whatever they were doing, there we were. The moment presented itself. I didn't force it on her. I didn't call her and try to ram this down her throat, how sorry I was. I waited for the moment to present itself. That's what I was taught to do. And we were sitting there. Hey, this is what I did to you. I scammed you out of 20 grand. And, let's be all the way honest about it. I can get honest with you all today. I knew she had early stage Alzheimer's at the time. And I was asking her for money one day and I knew she wouldn't remember it the next day. And I was taking advantage of that. So this is why I wasn't so willing to do it. This is my grandma. This is my everything, right? And I said, this is what I did to you. And how did that make you feel? And you would love my grandmother. She goes, I don't care. I'm fine. That's all she said. And she smiled and held my daughter. And I said, what can I do to make it better? And she said, I wish you would just take care of yourself. And I'm still upholding that amends to this day. I take care of myself, my family, Elena, my girls. I pay my bills. I pay my rent. I buy our food. Elena does too. She's going to watch this and be like, I pay for it too. Yes, we take care of our family today. So I became willing over a period of time to make amends to them all, right? So in step 9, it says, make direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. You see how I waited for that moment when Kev was in the car and it was just us and I knew it was right? See how I waited for that moment with my grandmother sitting on the swing with my daughter and it just felt right, like it was time for me to do this. I did it wherever possible, where it came to me and it felt right. Not whenever possible. It means you can pull out your cell phone right now and call 20 people and say, my bad. That's not an amends. That doesn't work. This is a thing where we're going to admit what we did to those people, let them talk, and then say, what can I do to make it better? And then you do whatever they said to make it better. And that's how you uphold your amends. Kevin asked me to just keep adding value anywhere I go, be it business, recovery, personal. And my grandmother said, just take care of yourself and take care of your family. And I'm still doing both of those to this day. My grandmother has now passed. And I'm at peace with what I did to her because we had a chance wherever possible to have this conversation, ask her what I can do to make it better, and I'm still doing it to this day.